Hello fellow geeks and welcome back to Running Geek Girl. My name is Heather, the Running Geek Girl, and I'm glad you're here today. According to numbers that we've seen from different polls online and things like that, a lot of you have taken up running recently. And with more people running, we've got more people thinking about trying out a 5K either on their own or going ahead and training for one now in the hopes that when races open back up, you'll be able to compete in one. Of course, one of the most obvious ways to train for that would be to use a Couch to 5K program. Now, these Couch to 5K trainers are designed to take someone with a relatively low level of fitness and teach you to be able to run a 5K within a certain number of weeks. Now, whatever Couch to 5K trainer you choose to use, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind. First of all, just because this says this is week 1, this is week 2, if you are still having trouble with week 1 and you just can't get through those workouts for week 1, repeat that week as often as you need to before you move on to your next week. It's not worth hurting yourself and making yourself absolutely miserable just to stay on what you consider to be the certain calendar for that program. Second of all, most of these Couch to 5K programs are set up so that you can exercise 3 days a week. And that means that you have the other 4 days of the week to use as rest days. Please use these days to actually rest. Or if you feel that you need to do some sort of exercise, then look into different types of strength training that you can do. Work on your abs, work on your arms, work on other muscles that your body uses besides your legs. Third, keep in mind that there are going to be normal aches and pains. Now, hopefully you know the difference between an ache of a muscle that has been working and an all-out pain. That means there is a problem and you need to stop right now. Trust me, when you feel a pain, your body is going to know when to stop. Running is not always comfortable. There are times when I'm absolutely miserable on a run, but I never run to the point where it is all out painful. In order to help alleviate some of these aches and pains, make sure that you always warm up beforehand. And if running is something that you really want to take seriously and this is something that you want to pursue, make sure that you find a good pair of supportive shoes, something that is going to support your heel and your ankle, and something that's going to put some cushioning between your foot and the ground, especially if you're going to be running on the road, because your foot hitting the pavement over and over can put a lot of wear and tear on your body if you're not prepared for it. Finally, remember, not every single run is going to be great. There are some days when I go out there and I'll realize half a mile into a run that this is just going to be a bad day. Not every single run is going to feel wonderful. Not every single run is going to go the way you want it to. Do what you can and then pick up again on another day. With those tips in mind, I'm going to be taking a look at several different Couch to 5K programs in the hopes that maybe you can find one that will work for you. Now, back 5 years ago when I was first starting to running and I wanted to run a 5K, unfortunately there were not the number of apps and programs that there are right now. There were a few Couch to 5K programs that were available to read on the internet, but some of them were really hard to figure out, especially for a newbie like me that had no idea what she was doing. They would tell me things like run a quarter of a mile, then walk half of a mile, and then run another quarter of a mile. And with someone who didn't even have a watch or a phone that could tell me when I'd gone a quarter mile or half a mile, or having to get on a treadmill and trying to mentally figure out, have I gone half a mile, have I gone a quarter mile? It was really confusing and I got discouraged pretty quickly. So I was able to realize what wasn't going to work for me, and eventually I did find a program that did work for me. So I'm going to be talking about some of the pros and cons of different programs, and hopefully you're going to find something that will definitely work for you if you want to pursue running a 5K. The first two programs that I'm going to be taking a look at are some of the ones that are the most popular ones, and they are some of the older ones, and so we're just going to call these the OG Couch to 5K programs. First of all, let's talk about the original Couch to 5K program developed by the NHS. Now, those of you who are my viewers that are in the UK, I know that you're familiar with this one. Unfortunately, we're not able to get the app here in the United States. But if you visit the NHS website, they outline everything that is covered on the app. And in lieu of getting the app, you can listen to it as a podcast on iTunes. Each podcast begins by outlining the overall workout that you're about to go through. Then the podcast will guide you through the workout, telling you when to run and when to walk, when to warm up, and so on. The music is provided as part of the podcast, so no need to bring an external music player into the mix. And all the music goes along at a good pace if you want to follow it. But even if you're not able to keep up with the music, the podcast does tell you what a good pace should feel like and what it should seem like. One of the drawbacks to this program, by the way, is that it builds you up to where you are able to run for 30 minutes. However, I found through my own experience back in my earlier days of running that just because I could run for 30 minutes didn't mean that I was going 5K. I was an incredibly slow runner right at the very beginning. While I was able to run for 30 minutes, which a typical runner would be able to cover 5K in that amount of time, I still couldn't do it. But it's a good starting point if you can get to 30 minutes of running, because then you can slowly start to build up speed and eventually get to where you can cover 5K in 35 minutes. Now, if you're looking for an app that is available here in the United States, look no further than the Zenlabs Couch to 5K app. This is by far one of the most downloaded Couch to 5K apps in the iTunes Store in America. Now, this app also has built-in music. It's mostly high-intensity workout, power jam. So if that's your thing, they've got you covered. And in any case, it will definitely keep you on pace. There's also the option to keep this app running in the foreground so that you don't have to worry about the app not being able to track you because it wasn't paying attention. I've had that happen with a few apps before, so that's a great feature. They give you a warm-up and then about a 20 to 25 minute workout, so it doesn't take all day to get your workout in. You have the option of turning on and off voices, buzzes, beeps, any kind of reminder that you need, something that'll let you know how far you've gone, when you're switching to the next part between a walk and a run. It gives you all the reminders, all the buzzes and beeps and noises that you need to keep you on task. Now, the app itself is $2.99 in the App Store, but if you opt to pay extra to use the Pro version, then there are some other options that it gives you. For instance, it will help track your distance and it will help track your calories that you burn over the course of your run. Now, whether you're using the original version or you're using the Pro version, either way, you have access to the Couch to 5K community. They have groups that are active on both Facebook and on Strava, so you can find someone who is in the same boat that you are, trying to learn to run a 5K, or find people who have completed the program and they can give you their best tips and tricks. Again, this is another one that tends to be more timed-based, training you to run for 30 minutes at a time, which if you are a slow runner just like I was, then it may not teach you to run a full 5K, but it will get you ready to run for at least 30 minutes at a time, and you can work up from there. So there you go. There are two of the OG crew of Couch to 5K trainers, and we're going to talk about a couple more in an upcoming video, so make sure you stay subscribed so that you can see when that comes out. Go ahead and click that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you can be here whenever I upload more videos. You can also follow me on social media. You can find the links down in the description. You can find me across most platforms under the name Running Geek Girl. Again, taking that step into running a 5K is something that needs to be commended, so make sure that you're doing your research and make sure that you're finding what works for you. I'm glad to be part of your running journey, and I can't wait to see you again. Happy running, everyone. You've got a kitty? Can I see? Oh, what a nice kitty.